I'm not married, but I'm taken and I'm faithful.
I'm hot.
Why do I know if I'm married?
You might want to get some of that dirt.
I'm about to be married.
Hey guys, welcome back. Happy New Year.
Yes,
this is your girl Patty Erica.
I'm Messy Mia.
I'm just Janika for now.
I'm ex Angie.
And we are back.
We are back 2019. We going in. So the topic tonight is pissy ass R. Kelly.
Oh my gosh.
Punk ass.
Why are we not on the screen?
We will be, ma'am.
All right. Thank you.
So you can call in 404-436-1277. Yes, you can call in and weigh in on the topics, and we just discussing everything tonight. But our main topic is pissy ass R. Kelly.
I'm fine with the pissy.
And that's and we gonna stick this up his ass when we see him.
So before we get into that, I do want to make an announcement that I told the girls that I was going to make. So last year, everybody that's my Facebook friend, Kimberly, everybody, Girlz Trip Radio was on board this year. Last year, I did a prom giveaway 2018 where the custom dress was included, car service, send-off location, food, buffet, balloons. We did a male send-off and a female send-off. So this year we are launching prom 2019 starting February the 1st. In order to participate, you have to be a senior. You have to write a letter on why you need the services and what you're planning to do after high school and submit your grades and your prom date. Where you can email myskinhasastory@yahoo.com once your entry is complete. The cutoff is March the 31st, 2019 at 12 midnight. Anything after 12:01, I cannot accept. I want to thank so much for our sponsors. Taylor Rowe will be making the custom-made dress for the female send-off. Antoine Johnson will be sending off the male in a tuxedo. Thank you so much to Michael Blue for car service, Mr. Noor and Glam Squad for the glitter and everything this year and candy tables. And I want to thank Tate Cobain for last year. So get y'all entries in February 1st rollout. That's it.
I want to talk about this piss.
Okay, let's talk about piss now. Okay, we can talk about this now.
You right, Trev. He has been doing this for 30 years. So we want to know, what do y'all think about what's going on in the R. Kelly topic?
Me?
Yes.
I think it's deplorable. Despicable. I think it's awful. I think that, I really think that, okay, so here's my thing. My take on it is, of course, R. Kelly is the culprit, and he should be taken down, go to jail, whatever you want to call it. But the industry, all the people who kept him making money and at the forefront during that time that he was doing all these things, and everybody knew about it just because he was a meal ticket, I think that there should be some repercussions and something done about that, or something put in place so this doesn't continue to happen, to keep powerful people in their position when they do bad things to people who aren't powerful. Something needs to be done.
Well, for me, I was a big R. Kelly fan. When he came to Baltimore 2P 2000, shit, I was on stage stepping in the name of love, but I didn't know he was stepping in the piss puddles. Wait, no, for real, like, I didn't know, but I haven't listened to R. Kelly music in a long time.
Me either.
And it goes back to, like you said, I'll piggyback off of what you said. Everyone knew what was going on in this industry, and everybody turned a blind eye because they wanted to make money off of this man. I just don't understand. I have an issue with some of the parents that allow their children to go with this man when they knew the type of energy that was surrounding him as a man and these young girls. It's no way, I cannot, if anybody out there listening, the last parents that was on and they were from here, with that particular family, I blame them, because I'm going to say, I watched the documentary and it has with the documentary, they sit there and they sent their daughter with this man. When your child went on stage with this grown man, and then you say she went behind and y'all couldn't find her, then all of a sudden she come out. Now y'all pumped up, and now y'all see him. They saw a meal ticket for me. That's my opinion. Then you say you continue to send her off with him.
But
that
he was
just
supposed to have a guardian.
He was supposed to send a guardian from the record label. They contradicted themselves because they were saying, well, we always said we didn't want her by herself with him. You shouldn't have wanted her by herself with him or with nobody else because of the allegations that was going on with. But I'm not even going to say allegations. He did this shit.
I mean, it wasn't proven back then, so I understand. It was an allegation.
It wasn't an allegation because at 15 he married Aaliyah. He knew she was 15 back then, regardless if they lied during the paperwork.
Him on him and mistreatment of the women.
Yeah, but he knew what he was doing, and like I say, abuse people Absolutely. Because they try to put up a barrier to protect themselves, and that doesn't give him the right to continue to do these things to these women, to these young ladies. I just think it's deplorable, despicable, and his ass need to be under the jail. And everybody that knew what was going on in them studios when it comes to the record executives, hashtag mute R. Kelly, hashtag mute the music industry. That's what the hashtag should be, because R. Kelly wasn't doing this shit by himself.
Okay, so Richard Thompson said the mother's parents need to be locked up, period. Sick of these phony parents. Now, this is my issue. Are the people that are on this show airing and saying what R. Kelly did, y'all should be held as responsible as he is? Because for you to sit there and say you knew Aaliyah was 15 years old, you do admit that you forged the document, you already knew these things, it doesn't make you any better than him. You went along with it because the money was good, so now you're not working for him anymore. Now he's this, he's that, but you're just as guilty as him.
Absolutely.
And Truffler, I agree with you. What are these parents teaching their kids? A lot of these parents, managers, momagers, or whoever you want to call them, they put their kids in harm's way for the come up. That's what they do, and that's what I feel that one family did, because everything that they say didn't make sense. Now you want to be on television telling your story that you contradict everything that you said. Now you want to be running to bills and throwing rocks and shit. Throwing rocks in my ass, I would have broke up in the building. If you thought your child was up in that building, your ass should have been up in that building. Nobody should have been able to stop you from going in there and intervening and getting your child from out of that building. Yeah. That one parent, that mother, she fought for her child. She carried her ass to LA. She went to that hotel and she got her daughter the hell up out of there. Absolutely. Point blank. Sean said, right is right and wrong is wrong, no in between. And I agree with that.
I want, in defense of the parents who weren't looking for the come up, the children who he was able to get to without the parents, I think in their defense, you can't really blame those parents because children are impressionable. They're young and their minds aren't developed enough to, even the grown women that were on there whose minds weren't developed enough to not be manipulated by this man.
So Byron says, and this Byron, excuse me, but that's some bullshit. I think we should all let God be the judge, and He will, because the fact of the matter is that we all are only human beings. That we are. Fact. I'm not condoning his behavior, but you kinda is. Nor am I saying I was right, but you're wrong. But we should let God handle this one, and He will. Is one sin worse than the other? Hell yeah, one sin is worse than the other, because no child should be molested.
Now,
period, point blank.
Let me say this. Okay, so as far as let God handle it within Him.
Exactly.
When He goes to God and repent or whatever and gives it, that's a relationship between Him. But God created a judiciary system for a reason.
Exactly.
He put these people in place for a reason. So if somebody goes shoot somebody on the street, we're gonna be like, turn the blind eye, let God handle it. No, He put us on earth for a reason. A judiciary system to try these people. It happened to me when I was 12. Would y'all gonna let God handle it? No. My parents, my uncles wanted to handle it. It's not right, and it's been happening for years. And it's people like you that always say,
Let God handle it.
And people walking around here broken and destroyed, and everybody's turning a blind eye, and they grow up with this stuff. It carries over. So that's not true. No, I'm sorry.
And they become adults who either become pedophiles
Exactly.
or so scarred that nobody else wants to be with.
Sean, who must not be religious? Man created a judiciary system, not God. Okay, but God created people.
Without God, they would not be here.
Exactly.
So God did create the judiciary system. Like he put doctors and lawyers, he created it. He created heaven and earth and everything that's walking around. He controls it.
Sean, if your child was molested, you want to sit back and say, "Well, let me let God. I'm gonna sit back. God, please handle this. God, my ass. Excuse my French. I'm very religious. Yes, I do go to church, and yes, I do read my Bible.
Yes.
But at the same time, what they say, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Somebody need to stick a pole up his ass."
Is that what he did to them?
I don't know.
Somebody need to piss on them now.
I will.
Exactly.
People always say that when it's
So call in 404-436.
It's not them and it's not their
1277.
child. So they gonna say that.
If you have
he
never
probably don't even have children, even say that. So it's not him. It's not his child. What hasn't even happened to him will happen to a loved one. So that's how he feels.
So if you Sean, won't you call in 404-436-1277? Because my thing is this: if you have children, it's nothing you would not do to protect your child. Period. Point blank. Not saying that exactly. Not saying that doing something to someone, harming someone is right. But damn, when it comes to kids, the gloves are off. Period. Point blank. Because if a mother ever touched my kids, he wouldn't be here.
Nope.
Him or her.
And let me
Period.
say this: at the age of 12, because like I said, it happened to me when I was 12. I was a very impressionable young lady. Y'all already know I was big for my size. I looked the same.
No
at
big
12.
ass.
And it was this, me and I call him my bro Steve McCoy. We were on Facebook and he had did a little message about it. And I said, well, it happened with me when I was 12. And the first thing he said is, I remember. But he was a musician. That's not the way anybody imagines to lose their virginity, period.
Right.
To a grown-ass man, point blank, period. But at the time, yes, young girls, yes, we're impressionable. Yes, it was daddy issues, and he made me feel like, you a big
special.
girl, you special, like, this grown-ass man, think that, you know what
Right.
I'm saying? And it showed me some attention, and the attention that I was not getting, and it happened, but that was manipulation.
Right.
That's manipulation. Like, it is nothing. I don't give a fuck. And I'm going to say it just like that. I don't give a fuck if they 12, 13 and they look mature. It is not consensual at all. Point blank, period. It is not consensual. It is fucking rape.
Period. Okay, we have a caller.
Hello.
You know she mad. Hey,
mean
caller,
that
how
shit.
you doing?
Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hi, what's your name?
Latarsha.
Hi, Latasha.
Hey, Tosh.
How are you guys?
We are fine.
I'm good.
How are you?
I'm good. Pushing through.
Okay, so what you have to say to weigh in on this topic?
Okay, so your topic is about
The topic is based around R. Kelly, but it's based upon women. Why is it okay for black women to be abused by men, and it's okay? It seems like it's okay. It's no repercussions.
Well, first of all, it's not okay.
Right.
It's not okay because we're all human, and we want to treat other people the way that we want to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
I am a survivor. I am a victim of sexual abuse.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to say the word victim because it makes you feel less of a person.
Right.
But, and I have survived it, and then I'm now thriving from childhood sexual abuse. At the age of 14, I was being sexually molested by my biological father. And after, years went by, I never said anything. I never told anybody because, in my mind, that this person had corrupted my mind so much to make me think that this is okay, this is a superior in your life, a person who, is the closest thing to a God in your life, which is your father. So you do everything that this person say, and they tell you, this is how I show you that I love you, and this is how you're supposed to show me you love me. So in your mind, you begin to think these things, for a long time. I had suppressed it because people, I wasn't ready for what the world would say. Because my first thing was at 14, people look at you like, better. You could have went and told your mom, but I couldn't have, because I didn't want to deal with the consequences of what it would feel like with my father being in trouble or, dealing with whatever consequences. People asking me questions like, even now, they asking me why now? Why are you coming out with it now? And when you've been abused, this becomes the norm for you. It becomes normal. So when you get into other relationships with men, you begin to take abuse because this is what is normal for you.
Exactly.
You have been invaded as a child. You didn't know how to set boundaries. So now, you don't have any boundaries. I remember being a teenager and, once I got pregnant with my son, and conceived my son, when guys would want to sleep with me, I didn't even know how to say no. I didn't want to sleep with him, but I was so programmed in my mind to not say no. I didn't know how to tell men that I didn't know I don't want to sleep with you.
Right.
So it made, so a lot of times, before I started getting the therapy that I got now, it took like 6 years of therapy. It was almost like I had a magnet on my forehead and I attracted abusive men.
And that's what people don't understand. Broken people attract broken people. So where you fall short in your life, that's what comes to you. And you accept it because it makes you feel acceptable.
Right. And then, men prey on weak-willed women. They prey on weak-willed women. So even in the... I heard y'all mention something about the mute R. Kelly. Am I correct?
Right.
So even in that, he preys on weak young girls.
Exactly.
Young girls that don't have a voice. Young girls, not saying they don't have a voice because the girl voice was beautiful. But I mean, that will keep secrets and, he manipulates their mind like, I love you. I'm the only one that's going to do this for you and start doing things for them that other people haven't done for them. And then once he gets you to a place where you feel like you can't defend yourself and you're so wrapped up, then he got you, because he knows that he can do, he can get you to do anything that he wants you to do.
Sociopathical genius as well.
And I, even, as I went through my abuse and I started looking at my relationships and started going to therapy, I stayed in a 13-year marriage with somebody that, went outside the marriage, had 3 children outside the marriage, constantly kept cheating, would not stop. I went to sexual addiction clinics with him, just trying to do everything to save my marriage, even going to counseling, going to the pastor of the church, trying to figure out, trying to get at the root of why he was doing these things. But I had to, as I was going to therapy, I had to stop and say, you know what? I need to start taking care of me.
So, Ms. Tasha,
I can't take care of this man.
What was your breaking point?
I can't fix him. What was my breaking point?
Yes.
My breaking point was that third child. I couldn't handle it. And he wanted to continue to bring that child because the other 2 children that he had, I brought them into my house and was raising them, and they were made outside the marriage and they came and lived with us full time. Wow. you know, and then that third child, and then he wanted to continue to bring that child. I was like, you know what, I can't do this.
Right, because
You
all you
can't
was
bring her
doing,
around anymore.
All you seeing is your hurt and pain looking in their eyes.
you was just repeating you was just repeating the cycle of dysfunction because it was comfortable and it was what you knew. And that's what I say when I say I was in an abusive relationship, domestic violence wise, so I understand why people don't come forth. If you haven't been in it, you won't get it. You won't understand it. Until this day, a lot of people don't know that I was in an abusive relationship. They thought he was the cream of the crop, the best thing that was smoking. And I kept it in because it gave me a sense of acceptance from outside, and it gave me some type of normalcy when I knew that inside it was chaos. So I understand when I'm not saying that all these women are telling the truth. I'm not saying that everything that they say is the truth, but what I can say is this. In some form of lie, there is truth. And you cannot accept the fact that this man have been molesting young girls for years. Whether these women now are opportunists, they writing books, they doing whatever. Their healing is their healing. Them writing a book may be their type of healing. People condemning them because they want to make a living off of it. Well, he made a living off of writing these songs saying exactly what he was doing to these women. So what's the difference in them expressing themselves in a book versus him expressing himself in music? You know, people don't understand. People just sit and want to see everything. Everybody want to always think people are just trying to get over. Everything is not about getting over. Something is self-help. And some of these women is doing that for self-help. Period, point blank. I would never sit and say to a woman that say she's been abused, no, you was not. Because I've been there, and I could never accept somebody saying that to me, because then that's making abuse apply back to me all over again.
And then if you've never suffered abuse, to make the comment, oh, now all of a sudden everybody want to come forward, it is a process.
It really is a process.
It takes a lot for a woman to come forth and say these things happen.
But it's also, it's a process, but now women are having courage, because this is something like, if you think about it, families would always say, what goes in my house stays in my house.
Exactly.
So you weren't able to talk about these things. So I'm grateful that people are coming forward and getting it out, because it needs to come out in order for you to get the healing. Just as well as R. Kelly. You know, his brother just did an interview saying that he was molested by his 16-year-old sister when he was 6 years old. Like, abuse, when you are being abused because my first sexual abuse encounter was when I was 8 years old. You know, so and that was by a female cousin. You know, so when you talk about that, like, you act out because you don't know, you don't understand what this person has done to you. So you will act out on other kids when you're kids. Now, when you become an adult, that's something totally different. You understand what I'm saying? But him being abused at 6 years old, I can see, and I've read the research on it, that kids that been abused at a very young age, they will abuse other children growing up. You know, and then, you know, like in his case, like, I don't know, like, he went so far that it was just like no turning back for him. You know, like, I don't know what is corrupted in his mind,
the fame and the
but
money gave him,
you know, he needs to get, you know, he needs to get help as well. You know, and his brother, it was good for his brother to come forth and talk about that. Just like Monique talked about her sexual abuse from her brother. So, you know, she was sexually abused by her brother. So, you know, like, everybody is starting to talk about this abuse, but they have suppressed it for so long. Women walking around angry, guys walking around gay, because they were molested and did not know how to articulate this. Like, this happened to me because it's embarrassing.
Exactly.
You know, and it's harder for a man to talk about their sexual abuse. It's really hard. And, if you ever sit down and you really talk about them, like I had did a workshop one time, and this guy just broke down in a class, and he said, this is the first time in my life, and he was 40-some years old, that talked about his sexual abuse. Men just don't talk about it. And, now everybody is coming because people are getting more and more courage. Openness breeds openness. So one person is being open, it helps other people to be open, and she'll look, wow, she can talk about it, so maybe I can talk about it and I can get healing. Right. But people look at it from a negative perspective. I was looking at interviews, and I posted something the other day on how women were ridiculing this woman for coming out now. Why are you coming out now? You want money. You want this. That woman had to go through some serious healing to get through what she had to get through, and then she was able to talk about it. You got to protect your children.
Well, we appreciate you for calling in.
And we celebrate you, and we celebrate you for being an overcomer. We celebrate you for being a survivor and telling your story.
Thank
and
you,
we thank
Tasha.
you so much for calling in.
Thank you.
Love you.
So Byron say you can't. So Chop Johnson. I don't know who hurt this fool, but he is really hurt. Yeah, he said hi, Diamond. Yeah, he is really hurt because he gonna say you can't debate with a woman. She gonna always be right even when they wrong. You real bitter.
No, Sean. Hold up.
He not gonna call in because he not man enough to call in. He gonna sit there behind that. He gonna sit there.
Man, those is facts.
You gonna sit there behind that computer and continue.
You can't argue with no woman.
You gonna sit there and
That is not true. We listen, but this is my issue.
You gonna sit there and continue to type behind.
Y'all, I can't even tell y'all that you can't argue. Y'all argue that point.
Right.
No,
it's not. With a subject like this.
Listen, I agree that we can't argue with because y'all are primarily usually wrong.
It's cold. It's cold in here.
So we're gonna say. So Byron.
I'm just waiting for y'all to know it's not as hot.
Let me see. Thanks, Tess. Bless you too. Byron said his wife had been through this as well. He said abuse is very strong. Yes, that it's very strong. But we can't just focus only on women. Men are also abusing. You are absolutely right. Because R. Kelly, as they were stating in the docu, that he was being abused as well. And like we say, abused people turn around and abuse because that's the way they take back the power that they didn't have as a child. So that's my take on that. That was all about money. Okay, Chop Johnson. I'm not telling Diamond nothing because nobody really care. And you can really tune out because your comments are dumb as shit.
Yvette Boswell she says only men. She said, and Steve is on here. Hey, Steve, if you could call in, I would love to hear your views too. Only men that are weak are intimidated by women that know their strength. That's what Yvette Smith. But this is what's been burning my ass all day. Okay. Andrea Kelly.
This wasn't.
Oh Lord.
Andrea Kelly was burning my ass only because she sat on the show. And she did this Lifetime and said all of these things. Mm-hmm. Then she went on The View, said he hog-tied her. They said, when did she know she needed to go? She was in the backseat of the car. He tried to kill her. She said the last time when she said she had to go, he hog-tied her, and the Lord told her to lay still. And she laid still, and he eventually fell asleep, and she wiggled out of everything, and she never looked back. But then you want to do a video saying
his song.
Wait a minute. And then you told Whoopi Goldberg on The View that he stopped child support. He does not take care of the kids. But then you're going to defend his fatherhood and him on a video that you did in your car. I don't understand it. What is it? Did he abuse you? Did he not?
She might be psychologically fucked up because of all the shit
that she's been through.
That could be.
It's just like people who are abused by their fathers, their parents, whatever. They love their father as their father, but also hate their father as their abuser.
Right.
So she could be going through that. 1 minute she loved him as the man who married her and gave her everything, and then on the other hand, she could hate him for all the shit he did to her.
But you know what? I'm not even going to lie and playing both sides. when it happened to me when I was 12,
I know you were thoroughly confused.
I allowed my abuser to keep coming back, like until I was 18. I had this belief that he really wanted me. He wanted to marry me. And when I turned 18, he married somebody else, which was fine. But it wasn't until I started going to school for social work that I realized I've been letting my abuser come back and repeat and be a repeat offender every year.
And different people.
And every time, like, it's always something. I will always let him back, be like, oh, he's this and he's that. But at the end of the day, this grown-ass man took something from me when I was 12 that should have never been taken. And I allowed him to come back. So I understand psychologically where she is because it hasn't clicked.
So don't be mad with the sister.
I'm mad because
she just might need
I'm mad because she has a platform. She has a platform that she can help other young
know
ladies.
What she's suffering from. She could have PTSD.
She said she has PTSD from Hummers. She said when she was in the Hummer and he tried to kill her. Now she said when she saw Hummers, she used to shake. She has PTSD from that.
Well, what you got to say, Angie? We gonna ask Angie.
Ask Angie.
As far as with her, I'm not gonna sit here and say I can't say how she feels because we don't know.
Right.
You honestly can't say that she's faking what she's going through. All this that's going on. Like, I didn't watch the documentary, and I'm not gonna watch it because for one, it's gonna bring up some stuff that I don't want to go through, that I don't want to dredge up. So I'm quite sure.
I hate it.
I hate it.
You real petty.
She was married to him. None of the other women that's been on this document was married to him. None of them was that close to him. None of them was with him day to day like she was. None of them.
But that older girl was,
and she has to feel some sort of.
None of them had children with him. None of them was on the same level that she was. And she
probably feel some sense of guilt too of being in the house when all this stuff is taking place.
So she's like on a whole nother different level.
Yeah, because she's saying he was sheltering her.
Sitting there watching all that has dredged up a whole lot of different things.
Emotions.
I know it's been times where I've seen things and other people that dredged up like a whole lot of different emotions in you. When you be angry all over again, so you reliving stuff all over again. Mm-hmm. So 1 minute you might interview me about something. And I just watched I'm calm, and I just watched something that reminded me of something I went through at this one period of it, and I'm pissed off. But then I might have an interview next week about something else, and I seen something else. So now I'm in a different state. So you don't know her mindset. You really don't.
But she said that this is my thing. Okay, like this was her opportunity to create a platform for women. That's what she said. She said. What led her to speak out is because she heard everybody's story and it reminded her of the things that happened. So she knew these girls were not lying. She knew some of them were not lying because it happened to her. And she said, I want to use this platform to help somebody else.
So where's your issue?
That point,
where's your issue?
Because she retracted all of that.
Did she retract, or did she tell you about her husband about some good things about her husband?
But the thing about using a platform, the same way she want to use her platform is the same reason why I started doing what I'm doing, because I want to use a platform to help women through the things that I went through. But it's the same reason, the same thing she's doing. She's trying to help other women heal. But at the same token, while she's helping these other women heal, she's healing her own self. Right. So she's still healing. You're never going to be finished the healing process. Never. True. So in the whole time, like every time she's having these interviews, every time she hear another story, she's reliving all this stuff. So I might say something to heal you through a certain situation, but it might dress something else up into me that I gotta go through that process all over again. So I might help you, but it set me back 2 steps. But something you might tell me, we might trade stories, and you might help me, but it might set you back.
Like something that dredged up something in me was when people were saying like, why didn't they just leave? Why didn't they just leave?
And it's so easy
for people say that I was raped when I was 13, and I didn't tell anybody until I was an adult. And people say, why didn't you say anything? I didn't say anything because I was scared, and it was a process. I was scared. I was ashamed. I was just confused about the whole scenario. So like, it's not easy to just come forward when something like that happened. Even though I knew in my family, like I had, people in my family that would have handled that. But still, I was still scared of this man because he violated me.
Because you were a child, your mind is not fully. What people don't understand is when a grown man approaches you in the status of R. Kelly in these situations, these women felt like he was God.
Okay.
Because, these children felt like that because he was in the limelight. He was all over television. He was all over the radio. R. Kelly, that's all you had. So as a child, and you're already in the mindset that's not fully developed and already in a space where you can't comprehend, for a man to come in and give you that attention and give you that feedback and all of those things and make you feel loved, make you feel special, like you the best, the prettiest girl in the world, and you could be home and you hear you ugly and all of these things, your self-esteem and that, and then you have somebody to come in and reinforce you are pretty, you are this, you are that. Then you're gonna have these young girls, and now you got them that they are women, they are grown women now, but they are so programmed for so many years. It's not going to. It's a docuseries. It's not going to fix it. It's not going to fix the problem.
Steve McCoy said the girl is still healing in the red. You're still healing.
Of course.
Of course.
It's still a process.
It is a process. But it can take. And like I'll piggyback off of what you said, Angie, you can have you can have a conversation with someone about something totally different that dredge up everything that you went through in a time in your life, and it just puts you back in that place of vulnerability, and you're just broken all over again. So you're always going to have to heal at some point in life. In everyday living, because it's just what it is.
And Stephen McCoy also said that it's what we're birthed into as a culture. He feels that's what we're birthed.
I mean, back in the day, you saw the young girls with the older guys. You can't deny it. You saw it. You got Lord Tiffany sitting on Uncle Jerry's lap. That shit wasn't cute back in the day.
To me, he wanted me to say the whole thing. He said this all leads back to our own issues as blacks, our dysfunctions that white man introduces to us. It's more social normality than it is real issues of R. Kelly.
Absolutely, because I think R. Kelly just take it to another level because of his fame and fortune. But as a layperson, we still
this happens every single day.
Way past R.
It's
Kelly.
way past R. Kelly.
It just sparked the conversation. He's bringing it to the forefront.
It's just you see it, you hearing it, you seeing it, you putting
it in your face.
Right? Don't downplay
R. Kelly. It's both. They're two separate issues.
Right?
It's R. Kelly. His shit was fucked up, but it's also society which allowed it to continue so long. So those are two separate things.
And because those young ladies were black, had he got next to too close to a white 13, 14, 15, 16, 17
Look at Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley did it. Elvis Presley did it back in the day, but you ain't seen no docuseries on him.
Well, it was one. That was one girl, and he married that girl, and then he died. But I'm saying. She's absolutely right. If R. Kelly, if it was a gang of white girls,
they gonna say, I would have believed his ass can fly his ass to the prison.
The president would have been talking about it. They really would have went down.
But then they so quick to like when it happened to me, it was.
So what does that tell us about black women? They don't care.
I was promiscuous. I was this. I was that. Not the fact that I was 12. Not the fact that 13, 14, 15. It's she's just fast. She's just promiscuous. No, this is a grown ass man. What do you mean?
But this is the society part I'm talking about. The reason why people say that it seems like they don't care about black women is because we don't unify in our condemnation of these acts.
We don't talk about it.
Saying, the girl's fast, or they start talking about the parents, and we get segmented in arguing about different things,
right?
And not looking at what the problem really is.
Exactly.
And enough famous people, not enough people who can make change says anything. Right? Because we can unify all day long in our hoods. But if it's not famous people, not somebody who can really make a difference, if they don't say anything, then nothing's gonna happen.
It's not.
We have a caller.
We have another caller. Hi, caller.
Hey guys.
Hi. What's your name?
I'm Kia. Sorry, y'all. I'm a little hoarse.
It's okay.
Hi, Kia.
So I wanted to weigh in on your discussion for tonight.
Yes.
Ma'am.
So I kind of feel like it's a catch-22.
Mm-hmm.
I can kind of relate because I'm at 12. I had my first child by a man who was 20
Okay.
and who was sent to jail for statutory rape.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I too, like the young lady with the black on, let him come back in. At the time, I did not understand or realize that I was a minor and that he was really taking advantage and control.
Exactly.
All right.
But then, I'm a piggyback on that because, like I said, my first child was created, right? From that situation, and she has reunited. Okay, so my grandparents basically raised my daughter because at 12 I really couldn't raise a child.
Right.
Right.
So they never allowed her to have any contact with her biological father.
Did you want that?
At that time, I didn't know what I wanted.
Right, because you was
Okay.
12. Like it wasn't a decision that you could have made.
I mean, I just want to
Right.
know what was her mindset.
But as I
She
got
want that.
older, I kind of wanted her to know who her father was. My father had been in prison all my life. I only knew him through a jail cell. My grandparents raised me, so I had a father figure in my life, which was my grandfather, but it was not my father. You understand what I'm saying? So fast forward, her being 18 the end of this month, so she's now reunited with this man.
Okay.
And
Have you? Let me ask you this. Let me stop you and ask you this. Have you had this discussion with your daughter prior to her meeting her father?
yes,
Okay.
because like I said, my grandparents basically have been raising her. You know, I'm in and out. I just in and out. So, you know, there were times where I might have been in contact with him, and I would be like, you know, I can remember when she might have been in elementary school and they sat on the phone for an hour doing math homework,
Okay.
right? So I can remember little stuff like that.
Right.
But then when she got of age to actually have a conversation with him, he lied and said I lied to him about my age, which was false.
Okay.
Because I never lied.
So that would be a problem.
So,
Because he's not owning his shit.
He's not.
They don't never own this shit.
right. So now he's building a
relationship with
his
her
daughter
based on the lie.
Lies.
Right.
based on a lie. And she's so blind because I've been in and out. She's not trying to hear
Nothing that
I
you
gotta
have to say.
Nothing. Right? So, but then I also feel a certain kind of way because no, niggas wasn't pissing on me, but after it was him, right? And then grown men were looking at me, then I started lying about how old I was.
Right.
Okay.
Because I figured if I told the truth and he didn't believe me, why not be able to lie?
Exactly.
So sometimes I did lie, right? But however, they may have found out because my mother would have been like, do you know how old my child is? She's a child. You know,
So have you, let me ask you this, have you gotten any counseling or anything to deal with your trauma?
No, because I feel like I could have said no, but I didn't.
You couldn't have said no. It
is not your fault.
You know, it's like right
It is
now
not your fault.
I could have. Let me tell you this because, see, and I don't want to misconstrue it because, no, I wasn't having sex, but I told this man I was very flirtatious.
It's
That
still
is
not
not
your
if he
fault.
was a whole adult.
It is, listen to
He should have
me.
known better.
You
Listen
really
to me,
need
it
to
is
go
not your
and get
fault.
counseling and sit down with someone, because you just in your tone of your voice, you are so broken.
And I hear the hurt.
It's nothing you can do
not
for
your
your
fault.
daughter. I don't care if you was in and
Not
out of
right
her
now.
life. It's
Not
nothing
right
you
now.
can do for her.
You gotta
And
heal yourself first.
she's accepting him to come into her life because the brokenness that you put on her because you were broken, is nothing you can do for her until you do something for yourself. So all I can say to you is you really need to go and get into some counseling and talk to someone, because that's the only thing that may help you out.
We thank you for calling.
Well, we
don't
really
wanna
thank
cut
you
this
for calling.
short,
We
but
pray
it's
for
time-
you.
It's our time to end, but we definitely gonna say some prayers for you, and we ask that you go find.
If you ever
some
want
help.
to talk, inboxes, we'll talk to you. I mean, we'll talk to you off the air. But we wish you much luck.
you.
You welcome.
You're welcome.
We love you.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. We really appreciate y'all tuning in, calling in, voicing your opinions. Voicing your opinions
Wait,
on this.
listen.
We're going to revisit this topic because the abuse
Absolutely.
in women
We definitely
and
gonna be a
abuse
part
in the
two.
black community
Absolutely.
is so
Prevalent
not talked
and not talked
about
about.
that it's becoming the norm. It's really becoming the
We
norm.
gotta break that cycle and shatter these glass ceilings.
Yes.
We can't keep doing the same thing.
So don't forget Girlz Trip Radio, where we give you a whole lot of truth with a dose of reality, all in love. Peace. See y'all next time.
Girlz Trip.
We love y'all. We're gonna have a part 2 next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a part 2. I may bring Steve as my guest.
It was so many comments coming through my stuff. I couldn't say nothing.
Yeah, we need.